Hi, my name is Liz LaRose, and I'm president at the Monadnock United Way. I'm joined today by Annie Dentino, who is the program manager for Impact Monadnock, and she will be talking about the pyramid model and the benefits that brings to the children in our community. Welcome, Annie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you. Let's jump right in with some questions. Could you talk to us about this? Pyramid model supports social and emotional development for children, and Monadnock United Way's Impact Monadnock is bringing this into our region's child care centers and preschools. Why is pyramid needed?
Yeah, and pyramid model is needed because preschool children are expelled at 3 times the rate that elementary school children are expelled at. When a child is removed from a child care placement, oftentimes that family is at risk of losing an income source, and it impacts the family in negative ways such as potential financial instability, which can lead to housing and food instability. It has a ripple effect through the family's well-being. Additionally, children are typically expelled from programs for behaviors such as aggression, tantruming, and non-compliant behaviors. Pyramid model seeks to reduce and eliminate these behaviors, typically bringing the instance of this behavior down to 5%, and also putting supports in place to keep those children in placement, to eliminate the instances of expulsion and risks to families associated.
Wow, so children are getting expelled at a fairly high rate. Does that also include being sent home early and not just expulsions?
Yep, so expulsions refer to a child being removed from program, even if that is for half a day, for a period of days following, or permanent expulsion, meaning they won't be returning to the program.
Okay, thank you. That's those are some sobering statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we understand the seriousness of what is happening in child care centers and to children, could you talk about or describe in layman's terms what pyramid model does to help children develop those healthy social and emotional skills so that they can remain in classrooms?
Yes, and I think the best way for me to do that is to share a graphic. So you are about to see a pyramid model on your screen. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the pyramid model is just that. It is a pyramid. And the reason for that is because we move from a system of universal supports up through the tiers to intervention, which should encompass a smaller percentage of the children in the program. So right here at the bottom is the effective workforce. And this really refers to the staff in the program having a working knowledge of best practices with children, and being supported by systematic components of the pyramid, such as access to coaching, access to professional development that supports their ongoing development as an early childhood professional. In the next tier, we're looking at universal practices. So these are practices that are happening in every environment all the time. So high quality supportive environments, which include environments that children are able to navigate freely and of their own autonomy, and very important, nurturing and responsive relationships. We know that children can only learn from people that they feel nurtured and safe with. That's a very important component of the pyramid. We're doing that with all children all the time. In the second tier, you're going to see the term targeted social and emotional supports. And that means two things when we're talking about the pyramid model. That means that we are intentionally teaching the skills that children need to develop in a social and emotional way. Those might include friendship skills, emotional literacy. And the other meaning of this tier is that there are going to potentially be children who need support in very specific areas. Children who need a little bit of extra support making friendship connections, children who need a little extra support regulating challenging emotions like anger or sadness, or excitement. And then as we move to the tippy top of the pyramid, we are looking at intensive interventions for children who still have persistent challenging behavior. And this, if we're doing everything appropriately with the pyramid, should be less than 5% of children at this point. And these intensive interventions are data-driven. We are always looking objectively at children, so we're eliminating biases, implicit bias. And we are often connecting children to community resources and supporting the family in a holistic way as they work to support their child. So that is pyramid model in a nutshell for you.
That's wonderful, Annie. Thank you. And when I look at that and hear what you're saying, it sounds like this is helping a classroom to be available for all children. So it's the pyramid model supports good classroom practices for all children. And then a way for children who are struggling. Many of, I remember being a child, we all tend to struggle at certain times with our emotions. So it sounds like it's also helping the teachers to help those children work through those emotions in a really positive way. So that's available for all children and helpful to every child in a classroom. And then the highest level interventions sounds like those are for those children who really, in the end, are still struggling, even with interventions that are happening for all children. They just need that extra help. And this helps bring them to those support systems in the classroom and maybe even outside. Yep. Paint a picture for us. You've been involved in Pyramid for many years. Could you paint a picture of what that support looks like for a child? Like what actually is happening for those children?
Yes, so I was called into a program to support a little girl, and we'll call her Jasmine. Her name is not really Jasmine, but for the purposes of this conversation, she'll be Jasmine. And Jasmine was at risk of being removed from the program for physical aggression and throwing of toys. Jasmine's mother was an LNA, and she worked second shifts. So she typically worked from 3 to 11 p.m. And Jasmine lived at home with mom and her aunt, who was pregnant and sick and really struggling with her pregnancy. And so Jasmine's removal from program could have been detrimental to that family in the sense that it could have impacted mom's work and eliminate their main source of income. And it also would have been an added strain on the aunt's physical condition. So what we did was we went in and we supported Jasmine. And if you'll remember that second tier, the targeted social emotional supports, we gave Jasmine some skills to make peer connections. So simple phrases such as supporting Jasmine and learning how to ask things like, can I play too? Or I need space, or I would like you to play with me, or can you come play with me? And those targeted skills allowed for Jasmine to make peer connections and have enough success in the classroom to eliminate physical aggression and throwing of toys. There were also concerns for Jasmine's speech that mom mentioned and the teacher had mentioned. And so we were able to put supports in place for Jasmine to get speech services. And those speech services actually did allow for Jasmine to qualify for amenities such as free lunch, transportation to school, and she got an opportunity to meet her kindergarten teacher before the transition to help that to be a successful transition. Ultimately, Jasmine was able to make a friend group, remain in placement, and she went to kindergarten with a friend group to come along with her.
Oh, that is so wonderful. So wonderful to think of children being able to move into their next realm and have their friends come with them and to not have to have been sent home. Can you also talk a little bit about what the back and forth looks like between the school teachers and the parents? And I think you have a story to share about Jasmine in that, how her parents were able to be heavily involved.
Yes, so Jasmine's mom also reported that there was challenges getting Jasmine from home to school. A lot of resistance. Jasmine was missing breakfast because she was spending a lot of time crying. She was coming to school hungry. It was impacting the start of her day. What we were able to do in that situation is use a similar tool that we use in the classroom with Jasmine's mom at home. In the classroom, we use visual schedules to help children predict what is coming next in their day and keep consistency within a routine. We asked Jasmine's mother to share with us her morning routine so that we could develop a visual schedule that Jasmine's mother could use at home. That way Jasmine had a tool that she was used to using at school. We knew she was successful with at school. It could help her with her home routine. We made the tool, gave it to Jasmine's mom, showed her a little bit about how it was used at school, and Jasmine's mom reported that Jasmine was able to make successful transitions to school following that, including breakfast, so she could start her day full and happy.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I bet that really made life so much easier for Jasmine's mom as well, to have that tool that she could use here and in the future. Annie, could you talk just a little bit about how pyramid model aligns with other efforts happening in this region and across the state?
Yes, so pyramid model is part of a larger picture of social and emotional support for children through the ages of 0 up through 21. And pyramid model is a similar support to what is happening at the grade school level, middle school level, and high school level through the work of Connected Families New Hampshire. We feel that pyramid model is an important precursor to that work so that we know that children 0 through 21 are being supported in social and emotional development.
Annie, as somebody who has dedicated her career to early childhood, what is the one thing that you want parents of our community to know about pyramid model and how that benefits children?
I would say the most important thing that I want for people to know, if they take nothing else away from this, is that social and emotional skills do need to be intentionally taught. And so to demonstrate that, I have actually brought one of my favorite quotes that I am going to share. And I will read it to you. The quote says, "If a child doesn't know how to read, we teach. If a child doesn't know how to swim, we teach. If a child doesn't know how to multiply, we teach. And if a child doesn't know how to drive, we teach. If a child doesn't know how to behave, we teach or punish." Why can't we finish the last sentence as automatically as we do others? So there is a belief out there that social and emotional skills just develop in children, but what research has told us and what best practices told us is that actually we need to intentionally teach these skills if we want children to be able to access them and be successful members of our community. So if nothing else, just know that we need to intentionally support the development of children's social and emotional competence.
Thank you, Annie, for taking the time today to share with us the benefits of the pyramid model. We really appreciate it, and thank you for the wonderful work that you are doing on behalf of our children.